Good evening, gentlemen. September the 8th, 2020. Doing a little bit something different this evening. I've been working on the frame inside my car, and I'm kind of at a point here where it's a crossroads, and that it's pretty much time to start welding everything up and make the frame solid and official. That also means that I'm about to pass the point to where if I later realize that I did something wrong, it's a really big SOB to come back and fix it because I'm about to weld everything up. So since I got a few hundred folks that seem to follow my build videos here every time I post one, I just want to show you guys what I'm thinking, and if anybody has any kind of input in terms of, Ian, you're forgetting about this, don't forget to account for that, that kind of thing, I would ask that you please post it up down below in the comments. Voice your opinions. I've never built the frame to a car before. As I've always said, I don't know what I'm doing. If you have something you want to bring some light to, this is the time to do it before me and that welder weld everything up for good. So have a look at the inside of the car. A lot of this is completely unfinished. Like if you were to look at my drive shaft loop right there right now, you'd say, wow, that doesn't look done. Of course it's not done. You might also look at it and say, well, Ian, it's not centered. Well, that's actually true as well, because this is an IRS car. So my pinion, although my entire chunk there may be centered, my pinion is not, hence my drive shaft loop is not centered. So I have additional bracing that I'll do and come in and put gussets in and things of that nature. But basically what you have right now are, frame rails that have been slotted over there for the exhaust. They run down the inside of the rockers. They turn inward twice. They hook up to my Detroit Speed front end. Again, there's more bracing and gusseting that has to go in there. I've also yet to add this final piece that connects it right here because I want to fully weld that before I put this piece in and screw my ability to get a welder up in there. So that's what I've done. I've left a decent gap, inch and a half on both sides from my transmission down to my inner frame rails here. As far as the exhaust go, once I get the correct headers in this car, I think that once the collectors are level, they're going to run either barely underneath my frame, or I might have to notch my frame just a smidgen to bring my exhaust all the way through here and then turn and head out my rocker. Here, it's also worth mentioning that obviously I'm going to need a transmission cross member that's going to go in here. If you look at it, it's really wild in that the bottom of my frame here is almost perfectly level with the bottom of my transmission cross member mount right there. So I think I'm going to be able to adjust the transmission ever so slightly and make the mount even with the bottom of the frame simply by default. So that's what I got. I've yet to put in the pieces that connect from this side to this side, because when I put those in, I've got to make sure that there's enough, leeway there that the drive shaft can come out of the car, and not run off and get tied up in it to where I've got to pull my transmission out just to get my drive shaft out. So that's kind of what I've got there. I've not put those braces in yet. I've not started building my frame rails that go across the back of the car. So at this point, my intention is basically, I think what I want to do is pull the engine and transmission out, cut a couple of pieces of steel that run from that rocker over here to this, so I've got a straight piece running across, clamp everything in place, and then start to weld everything up once I'm absolutely 100% sure it's all in the same plane. That this isn't an eighth of an inch lower, that this isn't an eighth of an inch higher, with everything being tack welded in place right now. If I run members across there and then just start C-clamping everything in place, I should be able to get it all perfectly in the same plane. So I hope that makes some kind of sense. If you got any advice to send my way, please do so. Probably going to weld that thing up within a matter of just a couple of days. So this is the time for good advice if it exists. You guys have a great evening. Thank you for watching.